Hey, how's it going? Joining on today because a friend asked how I could vote for Trump. I told him it was simple. Trump's policies far better and far more common sense than the progressive policies of the last 4 years. And actually, um, Trump's policies are all common sense, and it's pretty clear that common sense isn't common with the progressives. Look at the economy. They insisted inflationary spending was transitory. That was 4 years ago, or just about 4 years ago. They put in all kinds of crazy spending. They ballooned the deficit. They ballooned the national debt. They slammed us with high inflation. It's punished families between the cost of gas, the cost of groceries, fuel, electricity, everyday products. Families have spent tens of thousands of dollars on living expenses. Compare that to what Trump did. Real income was up, prices were down, everybody was doing better. Trump has a record. They say, oh, Trump's going to do this, Trump's going to do that. He's got a record. He did this, and we all benefited from it. And of course, they want to say, oh, scare you to death. Well, it doesn't work. The guy was president. He has a record as president. So look at illegal immigration. Trump wanted a border wall. They fought him every step of the way on the border wall. Wouldn't let him build it, wouldn't give him money. He transferred money. He built about 25% of the wall that he wanted to build with them fighting him every step of the way. What did they do? He put in policies, remain in Mexico, make them apply for asylum from outside. They were coming here after state, after country, after country, after country, and then coming here. And the asylum laws, they're supposed to apply at the first country when they're leaving, not the fourth, not the fifth. They were coming specifically to game the system to get to America. So what happened here? Biden and Harris came in, boom, they overturned everything Trump had done to secure the border. Well, how did that work? They opened the gates and the stampede took place. Stampede of illegals and of criminals. And the whole time, what did they say? They said the border was secure. Time after time after time, they went to Congress and they testified the border was secured. What else did they do? They sued the states. They sued Texas for securing the border. Texas put in buoy gates in the river, and they sued Texas for it. They sued Arizona for putting sections of the wall up to stop them from enforcing the border. Now they turn around. Harris said she was for sanctuary cities. Harris said a wall was stupid, a wall was Trump's vanity. She was the border czar. She wouldn't visit the border. She said there was no problem. Now she says, oh, there was a problem. Trump wouldn't let us fix it. 3.5 years into the game, they suddenly, Harris became a MAGA Democrat. She wants to build a wall. She wants to secure the border. And it's Trump's fault that didn't happen. That's her claim now. She was in favor of sanctuary cities. She was in favor of all illegals coming here, getting health care, even getting money. So, how did she become MAGA? It's real simple. The election's here. Now she's a MAGA Democrat. How about crime? She's the one who used to bail the criminals out so they could go out and riot. She's the one who wanted to defund the police. She's the one who wanted to close prisons, defend the criminals, and deny that crime exists. Well, we've seen through California, crime was going crazy. We've also seen it in New York and in Chicago and other cities. We've seen it with gun violence. They're against legal licensed gun owners, and they're in favor of criminals. They don't want to put them in jail. They don't want to have personal responsibility, but they want to have legal gun owners not carry, not be allowed to defend themselves. Then she turns around and, oh, crime isn't bad. They questioned Trump at the debate. Oh, he said crime is up. Oh, it's not up. It's not up. Then shortly after, the FBI had to admit and own up that, yes, crime is up drastically under Biden and Harris. How about national security? Well, if you look at the policies, they're similar to the crime policies. Let's appease. Let's not hold states responsible. Let's lead from behind, the old Obama term. Let's lead from behind. Let's be weak. Let's not be strong leaders. So what happened? The Afghan withdrawal, there was no planning. They claimed it was well done. The withdrawal was on TV. It was an embarrassment. They closed our military bases before withdrawing our personnel, before withdrawing our allies, before withdrawing our equipment. It was a disaster. What happened after that? We put out there how weak we were, how poor we had planned. Putin wanted to go after Ukraine. There were rattling sabers. There was talk going on. There were comments being made. Biden wanted to talk tough. He said he would eat Putin's lunch. But then what happened? Biden put in these fake sanctions against Russian oligarchs, but nothing against Putin, nothing against Russia. Putin invaded Ukraine. He ate Biden's lunch. Now Biden wants to fund a prolonged Vietnam-like war between Russia and Ukraine. Not give them the money or the equipment to win, just give them the money to survive, to drag it out for 10 or 15 years so that there will be misery for years and years and years. But what's happened along the way? We've stopped with our oil. We've stopped producing our energy. Fracking, he cut back on that. Oil, he cut back on that. And he cut back on the Keystone pipeline, but he allowed them to have the Nord Stream pipeline from Russia to Europe. So Russia's making a fortune now because they got to supply Europe. And they're raking in the money and they're using it for their war. And they're dragging out that war. It's misery, it's suffering, and it needs to come to an end. And that's what Trump has said. It needs to come to an end. Now, follow the policy. Appeasement. They wanted to appease Iran. They gave them money. First, they gave them money, and they withdrew sanctions. Iran, the biggest state sponsor of terrorism in the Middle East and possibly in the world, gave them the money. What they do? Hamas, Hezbollah, and they attacked Israel. And we stepped back and said, oh, don't have too big of a response. They attacked Israel at levels higher than we've seen. It was a greater attack than the World Trade Center attacks on 9/11. And what did the progressives, what did the left-wing lunatics in our government do? The Biden administration, Harris always calling for a ceasefire. You shouldn't go after Hamas. He called for regime change in Israel, a Democrat ally. They didn't call for regime change in Tehran. They didn't call for regime change in Russia. They don't call for it in North Korea or in China. They call for it in Israel, where our ally is. Well, on the plus side, Netanyahu is strong, and he is going after Hamas. He is going after Hezbollah, and he's going after Iran. They're defending themselves, and contrary to the progressives' hopes and the cheering on of Hamas and Iran, they're going to take care of business over there. And when Trump's president, we're going to have peace over there once again. So under the progressives here and their policies, the world's on fire. What was the situation under Trump? Well, he smashed ISIS. He didn't resort to war. He smashed ISIS. We didn't have wars anywhere after that. We didn't have problems with North Korea, Russia, China, or Iran. They were kept in check, all while producing peace deals between the Arab countries. So again, oh yeah, they threaten you about what Trump's going to do. Well, he already did. And what he did was 10 times better than what these clowns are doing with these progressive policies, policies of appeasement and nonsense. Now, domestically, what do we have going on domestically? We have the progressives denying the freedom of press, attacking people for their religious beliefs. They don't want freedom of religion, they want freedom from religion. They're attacking people of religious beliefs. They're a serious threat to democracy. They talk about a threat to democracy. They are a serious threat to democracy because progressive policies are un-American. The Biden-Harris progressive leadership has been the problem. They've shut down news stories that went against their agenda. Biden-Ukraine stories about corruption, the Hunter Biden laptop. They had national security officials sign a letter saying it was Russian disinformation. They stopped the publication of that story across the border here, across America. And then what? It turned out it was true. Did Biden fire anybody for any of these things? No. Fire anybody for any of the mishaps in national security? No. Anything with the border? No. Anything with the economics? No. These news stories, they shut down news stories about negative COVID information. They shut down legitimate objections to authoritative policies. They even fired people who had religious objections to vaccines. They attacked people for holding to their religious beliefs. They went after Christians. They went after Catholics. They put FBI officials in Catholic churches searching for extremists. And then they said, oh, we only did that in one bureau. And then they found out, well, there was another one, and then another one, and then another one. Then they found out there was an FBI memo that had circulated amongst the heads of the bureau. They went after universities and hospitals because they followed their religious beliefs. Harris herself attacked judicial nominees for their religious beliefs, Catholic religious beliefs, saying that would interfere with them serving. Then, of course, there's the lawfare issue, real threat to democracy, which they've engaged in by going after their political enemies with false prosecution, trying to keep others off ballots, denying voters the choice of who they want to vote for. They did that to Trump, but they also did that to Robert F. Kennedy. They wanted to keep Trump off the ballot. They didn't want voters to have the choice who they wanted to be president. They wanted to remove that as a choice. Then they wanted to remove Robert F. Kennedy. They wouldn't let him in the Democrat primary. Then they wouldn't let him get onto independent ballots. Then they went after Jill Stein to keep her and the Green Party off ballots in states. I don't want you to have the choice of voting for these people. Then they went after Cornel West to keep him off the ballots. They don't want the voters to have the choice. They don't trust the voters, their democracy. So let's remember, they hid Biden from the public, denied his cognitive problems when everybody was asking and asking. Oh, he's sharp as can be. Oh, he's brilliant. I'm seeing him every day. They assured the public he was sharp and ready to go. Then, after he'd been elected in the primaries, after he'd gotten over 14 million votes, they threw those votes out and they anointed Harris as the nominee. Somebody who hadn't won a single delegate in the 2020 Democrat primaries. Had not won one single delegate in those primaries. Now she's installed without a vote as the nominee for 2024. And she's an empty suit. She can't answer questions. They ask, what are you going to do different? Oh, I can't think of a thing. What are you going to do for the economy? Oh, well, I'm middle class. I had a yard and grass. And, oh, what are you going to do here? She doesn't have answers. Oh, we want peace. We want prosperity. How are you going to do it? Oh, well, we're just going to have to do it. How are you going to get through your tax policies when they won't vote for them? Well, they have to. That's not how it works. We all know that's not how it works. What do? They tell you, if you won't vote for Harris, who they wouldn't vote for 4 years ago, If you won't vote for her, you must be a racist or a misogynist. So this election is real simple. This election is about common sense. This election is about principles, not personality. It's not about, oh, she smiles and laughs and he has bad tweets. It's about voting for American values, not progressive values. They're not American. They're un-American. Keep that real clear. Progressive values are not American values. This is about voting for American values. So it's real simple. Make America great again. Vote for Donald Trump.